just to allow more people join us, and I'm here. Okay, so do not worry. 30 seconds, I should start. Larry Safari, over to you.
Yeah. Underdog, freaky, at the vex. Nigeria is stuck with leaders who can move this country forward. But if you talk, you go die. If you no talk, you go die. I'd rather talk. Anytime I talk, then they try to stop me. Arrest me, they want me. Whatever that you send, them no send, they go stop you. Arrest you or kill you. But if they kill the messenger, they no go fit kill the message. My people just they suffer, suffering and smiling. Hey, vagabonds in power. They want me, they want you. Government in power. It don't tell them they play also. The vagabonds in power. They want me, they want you. The government in power. It don't tell them they play also. Yes, every little thing when I see, I go talk.
Okay, let's get started, people. I'm not going to waste time whatsoever. I just want to give you a summary of everything that went down in courts today in Abuja with Sowore. All right. Let me start by recapping from yesterday. Yesterday, the judge did not show up under whether as called, and then today she came out. But we all know that it wasn't just the judge that was under weather. Even Buhari himself was undercover. The judge under weather, the president Buhari undercover. Did they cover him? Because he could not even go to National Assembly yesterday. If you ask, if Buhari, who took on the job or the assignment of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, could not show up in court for his own trial, and at the same time could not attend the National Assembly to answer questions on the prevailing security situation of the country, then where was he? Simple question. So that simply means that that man Buhari, is undercover. Then they cover him. It's as simple as that. But let's come back to today's court's case. All right. In summary, I'm just going to read out to you in sequence, and I'll be very fast about it, not to bother you. Some of you already know they adjourned the case already, and so. Falana came as usual to represent Sowore in the case against Buhari, because Buhari is the one on trial. Sowore is only a witness in this case against Buhari, and Falana is the person who is like the Abinger bringing about the revelation. Okay, Buhari disguised himself under integrity to come to power, but he lacked it. And then we are helping to reveal it. All of us, including you. And I'm going to explain to you in due course how all of us are doing this together. And not just that, it is also to let you know. It is also to let you know that this administration already is over. Buhari is only buying extra time. This administration is over. They are only buying extra time with all these things they are doing all over. Exactly. So let me give you the summary. Their own main lawyer. Don't forget that previously their lead prosecution counsel was certain person was contesting, who was looking for tickets to become governor of another state in the north. Okay? But he has now abandoned the case and left it for other lawyers. Now the main lawyer is Aliru, Barrister Aliru. He didn't come today. Just like they have always been, postponing, escaping, adjourning, looking for excuses and not coming back. So today, Falana, as usual, consistently continue to come to court. The judge came today. She did not come yesterday. There's something I always like to do when I want to mimic Falana. You say, my lady, that's the way he refers to the judge. Falana, of course, you can tell, is been so long practicing historically in this profession. So you say, my lady, because most judges just became judges only recently. Falana had been practicing because I remember when I was in court myself in Abuja, Falana told the judge that don't worry, the president will come when we get to that bridge, we will cross it. The president will come. And the judge will be like, how do you summon a president who is currently presiding in the country to come to court? And Falana said, during the Oputa panel, my lady, during the Oputa panel, I summoned Obasanjo and he came to court. Don't worry. He will be my first witness, my most important, my prime witness in this case, because he called for revolution and I was his lawyer. When he lost a matter, when he lost election in 2011, and he led a protest, he called for revolution, my lord. I was his lawyer. When we get to that, don't worry. Let's continue the trial. He will come. I know the appropriate things to apply. He will come. He refers to the judge as Milady, but that's not even where I'm going. They continue. The judge started, and then they started looking for excuses. How do we get all these people out of court? Because some of the comrades for Sowore were in court. Okay? And then their lawyers started asking, because of COVID-19 protocols, we should allow let some of these people go out of the court. And the judge said, well, if you're not wearing nose mask or face mask, can you excuse the court? So I think some of the people coming with Sowore in support of him had to excuse the court. All right. Then the prosecuting team asked for witness protection. Witness protection in the sense that they were saying we want the people that will be giving testimonies against Sowore to be protected, not open to the public. And the judge said, well, the first person who started testimony already was not necessarily shielded. And why should we now need it all the way? Because the person is still giving testimony and has not concluded. People already know the name, the address. You already furnished the courts, names of all, and you also already furnished the defense team, the names of all the people who are going to testify in this case. Why should we need again to begin to protect names or whatever? Okay, if that is what you want, we may want to therefore restrict the number of people, because at the end of the day, it boils down to secrecy. They want everything to happen in secret. Number one, they hid under the COVID-19 protocol to ask that the number of people who would be within the courts to experience or to witness it should be limited to only 20, given COVID-19 protocols. That's number one excuse. Now, number two, they are asking to shield the witness, meaning that you simply want secret trial. So we understand it. Falana then came up to say, come, even in serious terrorism cases, it has been defeated that you don't need to protect witnesses. It is a public interest matter. And these people you are even trying are not terrorists. They are not proscribed groups. They are open protesters. And they are entitled to open trial. Well, they interest me. So they continued. And then they called their witness to continue. Their witness came up and then said, okay. Falana then began his cross-examination. Falana began to cross-examine because they already presented his testimony in written form. They also reminded the court, the prosecution reminded the court that they wanted this badly, and Falana had countered it that, Judge, if you are referring to the application, refer also to our own counter to the application. Fast forward. Let me rush into the cross-examination. Now, this is Falana asking their witness questions. Falana started by asking, the name of that witness, the first witness brought by the DSS, is Rashid Olawale. We already knew that. It's not as if it is new. We knew that already, Rashid Olawale. Among those who came to arrest Sowore, so it will only be testifying in the limit, on the ambit of the operation he co-led or he participated in. So this is it. Falana asked if this statement is his own. He said yes, that he recognized the statement and he was the one who signed it. He said yes. Falana then asked him, what time was it? What time was it you arrested Sowore? He said midnight. Falana then said 1 a.m., right? Is that correct? The man became confused. He was looking, was it 1 a.m.? Was it 12 a.m.? No. Was it 12 midnight? Was it 2? It was sharp midnight. It was a little confused. Then Falana then went further and asked him, why was he not arrested during the day but at night? The man said, well, because we already could identify where he stays, and Sowore is not stationary because he is an everywhere person. He moves from place to place. Okay, so we already knew where he stays, so we could bust him anytime. That's why we busted him midnight. Then Falana asked, where was he arrested? He said, Montana Hotel, Lagos. Falana then proceeded, why did you torture him? He said, he was not tortured though. Why deny him access to his lawyer? Because that's also torturous. For days, you didn't allow him access to speak with anybody. He was held incommunicado. He said, the moment I arrested him, to the extent that I knew, I handed him over to our office in Shangisha. That is the DSS office at Shangisha. Falana said, you said you arrested him propagating revolution now. Was there any violence on that day of the protest, which was August 5th? Then the man, Rashid Olawale, answered, no, there was none. Falana said, are you aware there was a protest on August 5th, the same day the revolutionary protest was planned to take place? He said, yes, I know. The protest went on. He said, specifically, where protests held, do you know? And then they said, Lagos, Ogun, Cross River, Ondo, and other states the protest held. Falana then questioned, where was Sowore on that day, the D-Day, the 5th of August? The man answered, it was in Abuja with the SSS. So Falana then said, so Sowore did not take part in those protests? The man answered, no, he didn't. Then Falana asked, he queried, was there a revolution in any part of Nigeria on that date? The man answered, no, my lord. Falana continued, do you know that in 2011, Buhari called for a revolution like the Egyptian revolution? The man responded, I'm not aware. Do I expect him to be aware? Falana continued, say, okay, Back to what you were aware of. Are you aware at least that there was an overthrow of a democratically elected government in 1983? And then the judge requested for the link. Of course, Falana was armed with papers, documents, and all that. Then Falana educated everybody in court that Buhari led that coup in 1983. Then the witness answered that, oh, I was a teenager then in 1983. At least he owned up. Falana then asked, oh, what class were you in at school that time, that year in 1983 as a teenager? He said, I was in primary school. Then Falana then, okay, so when did you now know about the 1983 coup? He said, I was in secondary school when I knew about it. Then Falana said, do you know that it was General Buhari, the current president of Nigeria, who led the coup in 1983? Then the man responded that it's part of history. Falana continued. So you know that same Buhari was never charged for treason or felony? The man said, I can't recall. Falana continued. Alright? Are you aware that those who took part in the August 5th protests last year were charged to court? He said, yes, I heard in the news. He said, okay, good. Are you aware that they have been discharged and acquitted? Those who participated while Sowore was with you, those who participated in the D-Day protests have already been discharged and acquitted. The man now said, the man who was aware that they were charged now claimed that he is not aware that they have been discharged and acquitted. He said, I'm not aware. Now, Falana continued. Are you aware there was a court ruling in Lagos that the protest was legitimate, and in fact, damages of about 1 million naira was awarded to the protesters who were detained illegally? The man again said, I'm not aware. Okay? He continued, that is Falana. He said, are you aware that the funds collected from Sowore till date have not been returned? The man again said, I'm not aware. The Falana sat down. He was done with his questioning. As far as the testimony of that particular witness was concerned, it was done. Later, the lawyer representing the second defendant in this trial, being Olawale Bakari, aka Mandate, stood up and said he wants to adopt the same questions Falana asked for Sowore. He wants to adopt the same for the second defendant, being Mandate, but that he wants to add few more questions to it. He asked the person, he said, are you part of the team that arrested Mandate in Osun? He said, no, apparently, but that question was deliberate. Okay. And then he said, on the 5th of August, was there any revolution in any part of Nigeria? The man said, no. Then the lawyer representing Bakari was done. He sat down. His name is Adakole. Okay? Then the witness was then asked to step down. They are done with the questioning. They said, you may go and sit down. You are a small boy when Buhari led a coup in this country. We have asked all the questions we need. You apparently seem not to know answer to all the questions we have for you. Where is this going at the end of the day? It seems that Buhari will still eventually have to appear to answer his own questions because Sowore has taken over the court. Let me inform you that Buhari's administration, again, I'll remind you, is over. Nobody is in charge of this regime or administration as we know it. They are covering the man. They are protecting anything that concerns him because the man can't even come out on his own again. And where somebody is incapacitated, it becomes important that he should step down. This man can come out on his own again. He's been bandied around and packaged. And we've been there before, so why should history repeat itself? We've been there in the time of Yar'Adua. He left. We had to force him to leave for Jonathan to come in. Why are we having problem with similar history that we already passed through in the past? And that's where the issue is. Okay? Now, let me quickly round off on this and come to my own comment on this. The prosecution, lawyers from Buhari's side, are asking to shield other witnesses. Oh, they want to shield other witnesses. We are applying to shield them. Falana then responded that we already passed that stage. These people, these people are entitled to open trial. The people you are putting on spots, they have been here